Do you have a kid who really wants to play college basketball but is not receiving the interest from schools and their upperclassmen, juniors, seniors, particularly if they're seniors? What we're going to talk about today is how you can carve your way an opportunity to play college basketball as an underdog or underdog approach or process that can get you the interest that you're not getting right now. And it's a game plan, and it's something that you want to start doing immediately if you're a senior and you don't have interest or offers from programs that you're looking for. And then if you're a junior, you may want to start implementing this process. And then if you have a middle schooler, if you have an underclassman, it can also be helpful to start planting those seeds, but you're going to do it in a little bit different way. So if that sounds interesting to you, you're going to want to make sure you tune in to the rest of the show. And before I get to the show, I'm going to remind you that this is the College Prospects Podcast for parents and players. And it's brought to you by Wattsbball, wattsbasketball.com. I'm your host and also the lead coach at Wattsbball, Donald Watts. I've helped kids it sounds funny to say, but over 3 decades accomplish their goals and dreams of playing college basketball and just get the most out of their basketball talent and basketball experience, period. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, definitely head over to wattsbasketball.com and get involved with us and our programs immediately. If you don't have a kid, but you're interested in supporting a kid, the wattsfoundation.org, an organization that is an extension of my father's work, who came to the Seattle area as a Seattle Supersonic in 1973 and went on to be Seattle's Man of the Year, Seafair Grand Marshal, the NBA Walter Kennedy Citizenship of the Year award winner, just an all-around community person that loved the community. He's still with us. He had a stroke, so he's not able to do that work, but I am taking on that work, me and those of us who are passionate about working with underprivileged kids and giving kids opportunities through the wattsfoundation.org. So if that's something, if you're interested in sponsoring a kid, if you're interested in helping us fulfill the dreams of kids who can't afford certain things and opportunities, and giving them a great chance and a great opportunity at a great future, absolutely head over to the wattsfoundation.org. And let's join teams, join the team, and let's do some good work for kids in need. All right, with that being said, let's get to the show. All right, and I'll break it down to start right from the beginning. If you're not getting interest from schools, if you're not getting interest from schools that you want, or maybe you're getting interest, but it's not at the level that you want to play at, the simple thing to do is to express interest. If they're not interested in you, don't be too prideful to turn around and express interest in them. And what do I mean by that? You want to create a market for yourself or see where your market is, and there's no better way to do that. If I'm a senior and I don't have interest from colleges, you understand that smaller colleges have smaller budgets and less time and opportunity, and they also like to wait and see what kids that think they're being recruited or are being recruited by bigger schools are going to fall to them. And that's just the nature of the business. But if you understand that, what you can do is, like I said, express interest in schools. So go to the Division III schools, go to the Division II schools, ask them, can you come watch practice? Tell them you're thinking about applying to their school, but that you also want to play basketball in college and you like to come see the school, but you also like to come see them practice, see their facilities and things like that. So what you're doing is you're opening up the door and and attempting to create a relationship with the coach and the coaching staff. And if they see you as borderline, their recruit, they're going to respond. If they would love to have, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, right? Like, well, you want to be the bird in the hand, so to speak. If they know they have a athlete who is interested in their program and they're recruiting another athlete who they're not sure, or they've seen another athlete who they're not sure if they're interested or if they can land them or if they can get him or her, and it's close, you're going to give yourself the nudge up over that person because you've expressed interest in them. Even if it's not the ideal, like what if it's not where you want to play? It's not the level that you want to play. Well, here's something to understand. Even for me, if I were helping you and I was trying to help you get to the level that you want to, and I called a coach on your behalf, and that coach says, well, who else is recruiting him or who else is interested in him or her? I can't just make up a name or make up a school or say that a school is that isn't, because coaches know each other. And if I did and they called the school, and that would kill your recruitment, not only with that school, but it would kill your reputation. But on the other hand, if that call is made and they say, who else is interested? And I say, oh, well, SPU has expressed some interest in them. And that's interest that you created because you went to SPU's camp practice and you talked to their staff and then at least if they called SPU, they'll say, oh yeah, he was on campus. We like the kid, whatever. We're not sure we're going to offer him, but yeah, that means you're in their wheelhouse and you're not lying, and interest gains interest, right? So if it's UPS or if it's whatever, so now you can say on your behalf to the schools at the level that you want to play at, you can say, yeah, I've got some interest from Puget Sound University, Division III, but I'm really trying to play Division II. Well, that gives you more credibility as a prospect when approaching the schools at the level that you want to play, right? If you don't have any interest from anybody, then it's going to be really tough to get anybody interested. So I hope this is making sense. But you want to get out and explore and create a market for yourself right now, starting today, by reaching out to schools. And now, if you have any questions of what and how you should reach out, get your highlight film together. Scratch that. Get your recruiting film together. I changed that from highlight film to recruiting film because a lot of people think that the videos that you're putting on IG and that your friends are liking, where you're doing high fives in the warm-up lines and it's got your music to it and all those things. College coaches aren't interested in seeing that. They want to see a recruiting film is you putting together your best 3 or 4 attributes that translate to the next level. Your recruiting film should have your size, your contact information. It should have your GPA. It should have any, all conference honors and things like that in a slide in the beginning, so that coaches can see, boom, exactly, who you are, how to contact you. And then the film should actually have your translatable skills as opposed to your highlights. It should have your sustainables the things, your translatables, your sustainables and translatables, the things that you do most often, that you do really well, that is going to, that you're saying, when I get to your school, this is what I'm going to be able to do and bring to your school. So you want to have that. Then you want to, email, find a text message, phone, and like I said, let coaches know, hey, I'm interested. I'm applying to some schools. Your school is one of the schools that I'm looking at, but I'd like to play basketball throughout my college career, and I would like to understand your guys' program. I'd like to get to know you and see if it's a good fit. If you don't hear anything, reach out. Don't just shoot an email. Try to reach out by a text or whatever. And if you get to where you know that the coach has seen it and you haven't heard anything back, then that's feedback that you need. You're shooting too high, or you're not quite ready based on what you've shown them in the package for them to say, yeah, come on. I mean, that's not a lot. It's not a big ask. It's a little thing to do, but they also aren't going to do it and waste time with anybody who they really don't see fit. And here's the important part of this is, just because a school at a certain level doesn't see you as a fit, doesn't mean that you're not the right player for that level. Different coaches and different programs have different values. They have different ways that they'd like to win. So don't get discouraged at a certain level because a school, just because the University of Washington, didn't give my son a serious offer, doesn't mean that he's not a high major player or prospect. And that's a real live example. We had a offer from Eastern, mid-major, but he wanted to be high major, and we made a decision to go to do a prep year back east, because we hadn't had the visibility and the recruiting, and because COVID had took away so many things. We invested in trying to get those things back by going to South Kent and playing for Coach Chilius. Well, being back there and getting those opportunities to play, we got a ton of high major offers and interest. So just because one school, just because one school that's seen you doesn't value you, doesn't mean you're not valuable at that level. So that's where it's important to do your homework, do your due diligence, figure out what teams value. And part of that is getting to practice. Part of that is getting to the games. Part of that is studying, how they win, how they play, and if you're a fit for that. So at the end of the day, interest gets interest, right? And be proactive about your recruiting process. Do your homework. Try, when you go to a program, look at the roster. If you go to a program and you see somebody who looks similar to you, and that program was successful with that somebody who looks similar to you, then you go put yourself in front of that coach and remind that coach of the person that was at their program that was successful. But that's homework that you have to do to see and figure out who is where and who is what to create that market and that interest for you. Now, if you do that now before your season starts, at going into your season, then when you go off this season, you have a 40-point game, you have a 50-point game. It's not like, oh, who is that kid that dropped 40 or 50? It's like, oh, that's that kid that was on our campus that dropped 40 or 50. Yeah, respond to his text. Yeah, answer it. Now they're intrigued by your performance, and your performance, there's a personality that goes with your performance, not just a Twitter handle, because you've took the steps to put yourself in front of coaches and to meet them and greet them. And ultimately, those relationships that you built at the level that, may be a lower level than you want to play, that coach might be successful, be moving up and take you with them. Hopefully it's a relationship that you may not have to use, because Now they're expressing interest, and then other interest comes because you've created relationships with coaches. You pull offers. When coaches see you put offers that are legitimate offers on your Twitter feed, then it perks their ears up, and then they start to get interested. So there's a snowball or an avalanche, a positive snowball avalanche effect that you can create, but it starts with sort of a grassroots recruiting movement that can be initiated by you and your family. Getting on campus, doing the unofficial visits, watching practice, start locally. And then the other thing that happens is in the spring, when the season is over, you now are invited to you can get yourself invited to the open gyms, which is going to be a lot more productive for you as you play through the spring. And if you decide to go to prep school or whatever it is, it's going to be a lot more productive for you than going to LA Fitness. So if you got 4 or 5 local schools that you've built relationships with, and then as you improve and you're going through the spring and you're playing with those guys, you can go over there and you can grind your way into an offer. All right. So that's my suggestion. If you don't have the recruitment that you want and you've been working hard and you really, really, really want to play this game at the next level, it's time to put a different game plan, a grassroots recruiting movement in place for yourself. If you need any help, need any advice, have any questions, reach out to me on Twitter, Donald Watts 24, or on X, formerly known as Twitter, or just hit me up. Wattsbasketball.com, once again, is the way that you get involved with us. Let us know if this show is helpful for you. Hit that like, subscribe so you won't miss any episodes, and share it. Sharing is caring. Do like Slick Watts, get the assists. NBA's first guy to lead the NBA in steals and assists in the same season, my pops. So we're all about sharing, helping other people get better. Spread the word. This is the College Prospects Podcast for players and parents. We'll see you soon. Peace, love, basketball. Let's get in the gym.